and then he did a sidekick on it, and he broke that.
He was fast, he was powerful, he was very perceptive. He could read you before you threw a blow. I sparred with him briefly. It was like trying to fight a shadow. And he closed the gap on you like a bullet. And never could figure out how he did it, but I think it was all up here. Mental. He could look at your eyes and tell just about when you are in between thoughts and bing, and he's already got your number down. You see, that's how good he was. And I think size wouldn't have made too much difference because he would have been very elusive. He wouldn't have, like he said, you know, he said, you kick like you punch like you kick. And if you go against a big guy, you speed. You go a small guy, you overpower him. And so he was just a natural fighter.
From the first book, when he wrote his introduction, he discussed the yin and yang and the philosophy behind the martial arts. So that was very impressive to me because here was someone who just wasn't this macho brute, but he was a very intelligent man.
A karate punch is like an iron bar, whack. A kung fu punch is like an iron chain with an iron ball attached to the end, and it goes whang, and it hurt inside.
It was during one of his many demonstrations that Lee was first discovered by Hollywood. A screen test was promptly arranged, and he was cast opposite Van Williams in the Green Hornet television series. His acting skills could now work in conjunction with his physical abilities.
Tell me now the difference between jiu-jitsu, which is long and involved, and kung fu, which is very quick if you have an opponent.
All right, for instance, you will read it in the book, in the magazine and everything, that when somebody grabs you, you will first do this, and then this, and then, and then, and then, and then, thousands of steps before you do a single thing. Of course, this kind of magazine would teach you to be feared by your enemies and admired by your friends and everything. But in Kung Fu, it always involves a very fast motion. Like, for instance, a guy grabbing your hand. It's not the idea to do so many steps, stepping right on the instep. Do let go. This is what we mean by simplicity. Same thing in striking and in everything. It has to be based on a very minimum motion so that everything would be directly expressed. One motion, and he's gone. Doing it gracefully, not to go, yelling and jumping all over him, but to do it.
Okay, now show me once again just a few movements there.
Well, Kung Fu can be practiced alone or with a partner. Practicing alone, they involve form. Some imitate a crane, a monkey, a praying mantis. This is a crane form. Start off. This is one of the movement involved.
Show us one more movement and then we'll be all through.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. They have the tiger that start like a tiger, using claw to claw the face, or the bigger guys move. This is some of the movement involved.
In the Green Hornet, Westerners caught not only their first glimpse of Bruce Lee, but also of Chinese Kung Fu.
He was frustrated at the fact that he didn't get the role in Kung Fu. He said that Hollywood played games with him.
Recognizing that his Hollywood opportunities were shrinking, Bruce Lee looked to Hong Kong for possible film work. His childhood friend Unicorn Chan worked at Asia's largest film company, the Shaw Brothers Studio. The studio's main action products were sword-fighting epics set in traditional China, although a few empty-hand fighting films were beginning to emerge. Lee's expectations clashed with the Shaw Brothers' hardline policies, and no deal was made.
What? $10,000 US a picture? must know. All the beginners here only start with $200 Hong Kong a month.
Sorry. $10,000 is my living expenses.
Oh, look. We're the biggest film company in the Far East. We've got money. We can make high-class pictures together.
We'll talk it over later.
Huh? Nonsense.
While in Hong Kong, Lee appeared on a popular local talk show to discuss his life and career since leaving the colony in 1958. The Green Hornet series was having its first run on Hong Kong television. After excusing himself for using somewhat rusty Cantonese, Lee introduced his martial arts philosophy to Hong Kong viewers. He explained that many Chinese fighting systems had become weak and impractical. He consequently developed his own fighting method, Jeet Kune Do, which stressed simplicity, efficiency, and realistic training procedures. Lee emphasized that speed, power, precise timing, and absolute concentration were essential to assure victory. Although his theories were revolutionary, he gave a commanding demonstration. Objections to his comments about the classical martial arts were not openly voiced. A young boy named David Lowe, son of movie director Lo Wei, was watching the show. David told his father about Lee's demonstration. Mr. and Mrs. Lo Wei had known of Lee. Having heard that the Shaw brothers had been unable to make a deal with him, they contacted Raymond Chow, a former Shaw employee who had broken away to start his own production company, Golden Harvest. The Lows urged Chow to sign Lee to a contract. Upon viewing a tape of the show, Chow became convinced that Lee was box office gold. Using Mrs. Lo Wei as an intermediary, Lee and Chow reached a financial agreement and began work on their first film, The Big Boss. Production of the film took place mostly in Thailand. Lee was surprised at how crude the filming was in comparison to Hollywood and made numerous script changes throughout the production. Unfortunately, the original director, Wu Xia-tsang, overspent on the small budget, which caused a minor crisis. Director Lo Wei was approached to take over production, but showed no interest in working on a small-budget film without a big-name star in the lead role. The turning point came when he viewed some of the fight scenes Lee had already filmed and apparently saw what Raymond Chow had seen, a potential box office blockbuster.
Mr. Chow, this brother Chinese should be given to me.
But you say you're not interested.
Well, that was long ago. Furthermore, only I can make him a star. You know that. Who just isn't good enough.
But it's been already started.
Change the director. It was my wife that got Chowing back from the States, so I should be the director.
But what shall I say to Mr. Wu?
Let me handle it. I've got ways.
But,
Ah! Mr. Chow, I'm thinking long-term business.
Okay, as you say.
Lo Wei recognized Lee's star potential. Lee was subsequently awarded the lead. With a new director at the helm, the cast and crew of The Big Boss resumed filming with a sense of energy and purpose. Lo Wei had no illusions about great storylines or high drama for his production. He knew that the audience wanted action, and lots of it.
Mr. Liu, where should we set the angle? Ask the cameraman. But what should we do next? Fight! Fight! Just fight!
The finished product was unlike anything Hong Kong audiences had seen. The Big Boss outgrossed any previous film that had played in the colony, foreign or local. Bruce Lee literally became an overnight sensation in Hong Kong. What started out as a temporary detour in his quest to succeed in Hollywood now became a full-time commitment. Initial attempts to release the film in non-Asian countries were met with resistance. Potential buyers didn't seem impressed with Hong Kong box office figures and didn't see how a Chinese movie could possibly make money outside of Asia. But after seeing the results in one overseas theater, they quickly changed heart.
The first real breakthrough was in Beirut. I did a 4-wall deal for Big Boss in Beirut, and the film just took off, and people were flying to Hong Kong from all over the world to buy Kung Fu films following that. And that was really the first breakthrough.
Pre-production for Bruce's second film, Fist of Fury, began while Big Boss was still smashing records. With nearly triple the budget, it promised to be a surefire success, especially with Lo Wei's directorial touch. Lee was once again in the role of misunderstood loner, who single-handedly righted the wrongs inflicted on